Hello, good morning. My name is Dawn, and I come before you to talk about communication. We are all involved with communications in some kind of way. There is one way communication, there is two-way communication, verbal communication, as well as nonverbal and written. All forms of communication is important in our daily walk in life. We have communications on our job, relationships, children, with friends and family. So communicating is important in the world today. So first of all, I'm gonna start off with verbal communication. We know that verbal communication concerns and is considered and in dealing with words. Our words in our spoken life, written life is written. But our spoken words is communication, and how you come across with those spoken words is important. They're going to look at your vocal tone as well as the way you express yourself in the words you use in communicating. So sometimes we need to avoid using some words in communication because it might lead to conflict. So, and the way we deliver the words can also lead to conflict or the wrong response that we are looking for. So, I wanted to put down, there are some words that sometimes we need to avoid when using, when dealing with a situation, such as need, should, must, how to, ought to. So those are some of the words that sometimes when we are trying to get our point across or come in agreement with someone, we should use more words like important, imperative, necessary, crucial, or beneficial to put in a statement to stay calm. So instead of using you need to do this, or you should do this, or you must, or you show you how to, or you ought to, those are kind of words that you need to kind of like avoid when dealing with others, or you trying to get them to be in agreement with your situation. Um, Words express how to words can lead to, sometimes we need to leave our emotions out of the communication. When you're communicating, don't kind of like take it personally, because when we take things personally, it really gonna affect us emotional. And when we deliver those words to the person and we emotional, we have to look forward to getting the consequences of what those words delivered. So so using your words, and choosing the words properly, and how to place them in your conversation or your script or whatever you're about to deliver. You need to choose your words wisely. And whenever you don't choose your word wisely, you have to look for the response from others that your words have caused them to come in, come about the way you have presented them to them. So sometimes we're gonna deal with what about your visual? Visual is what they're seeing, your facial expressions, your hand, your body language, So we all, when we walk in the room, You know, they always used to say, well, you only have one time to make a first impression. And you know, sometimes if you're trying to get your point across or come across positive, you want to have an appearance of being a positive person. And sometimes our appearance do play a part in the visual part of our communication. Communication visually is what a person sees when they first walk in the room. They're gonna see your body language, how you sit, how you dress, what are you, you know, what's, you know, you got, whether you have tattoos or piercing. Some people have perceived what they think about a person with a lot of tattoos, or their body language and your expressions on your face, whether you're talking to them and using eye contact. So all of those things play a part in your visual perception of someone. And it could be totally wrong, but we all know that visual plays a part in what you communicate to another person. So therefore, if you're trying to make an impression, you have to also have your visual part of that impression together when you walk into the room or when you're presenting yourself to another person. And then you might get the response that you're looking for. The colors you wear sometimes in your clothing expresses some things about you. You're there, power clothes and the colors. Blue is a power. Red is mean. You know, if you're wearing red, it means that you're very, you know, aggressive, or it's a power move. White is a settle, not neutral. You know, you cool, calm. You know, it's just neutral colors. So colors, the colors you wear, you know, it's calm. You know, you're not gonna be, you know, just agreeable. So sometimes we got to look at our colors, the colors we wear, especially when if you're going on a job interview, you want to wear appropriate attire because the first thing they're gonna observe is how you dress. So that's a visual communication. And you know, so visual is important, and the way you express yourself, looking at eye contact, or you always looking away. It means, you know, looking away or looking down mean you might have low self-esteem, or you're not sincere about what you're saying to that person when you looking away, rather than looking them straight in the eye and having a serious conversation with them. So also, like I said, when you respond, you look at your vocal, how your tone of voice is. You know, say what you want to say and mean what you say when you say it. But when you say it, you have to say it in a way that is not intimidating to the other person, or not overwhelming the other person. And also, when you're talking to someone, you also need to be a good listener. Listening is important to get the full message that that person is trying to give you. When you listen and you give it back to the speaker, it shows them that you paid attention to what they're saying and how they said it and what way you understood to give the message back. So listening is very important, and sometimes people will get frustrated when they are saying things to you, and you have to keep repeating what you're saying because they're really not good listeners. They're not paying attention to what you are saying. Then they'll get confused with the whole message. So therefore the message is not what affected because they're not getting what you're saying. So, and you have to speak to your audience. What level of audience you have? Are you feeling? Everybody interpret on a different level. Are you speaking to people, younger people, older people, or educated people, or people who not so educated that they don't know the words that you're using? You have to use the language and the words that these people can what understand when you're coming across to them. You have to get sometime on the level and use words that are more familiar with their background or the environment that you're in. You're not gonna speak to people who never went to college or do not have a full education in learning and knowing how to communicate with them with large words that they're not going to understand. You probably want to come across to them on words that is familiar to their culture or to their background. So you have to kind of like seize out the audience that you're talking to before you start speaking, so you can be on a level that they will understand. Because if you're talking to people and they can't understand what you're saying, then the communication has failed. So let's kind of like when we communicate and in the relationships, you want to always be able to have a conversation that is affected. And what are you trying to do? You're trying to get them to come. Arguments are for someone to come to an agreement. We have arguments to make everybody understand, to come to agreement on what is being said or done in the situation and how to do it in the situation by coming to a communication, by letting everybody come up to agreement and understanding. Now, sometimes when we hold back on our words and we are very passive, there are passive people in the world with their communication. They're very passive when you don't want to come across, or you're not coming across with what you really mean. You want to say, if it's cold in the room and you go up to the speaker and say, are you cold? And the speaker say, no, it's very comfortable in here for me. Then when you go sit down, instead of saying what you really, could you please turn the air down or could you turn the heat up? Rather than saying that, you will go and sit down and you'll start asking others in the area or in the environment or people who's sitting around, or isn't it cold in here? Oh, why she have it so cold? Or isn't it warm in here? Why didn't I turn it? When you should have went to the person. You're gonna tell it to everybody but the person who can control the heat or the person who can control the air. That is what? Passive. And then when it get out of control, you're gonna hold everything in and hold everything in until what? You get angry. And once you get angry about the situation, then you're gonna let everything out. That is not the time to let all your feelings out. Let it be known, whatever your feelings is, come across to the speaker or the person who you have who have control over the situation or who can handle the situation, instead of going all over the room and telling it to other people, which will cause what? A big disturbance. And the next thing you know, it's the conversation really have gotten out of control because of your anger. So it's best to be assertive, stay in your ground, stay in your boundaries, but don't hurt no one else, and don't use disrespecting. Don't be disrespecting others when you say things. You have to stay in your boundary, be precise in what you're saying, but not to hurt and harm anyone in what you're saying or infringe on their rights. you know things, people have rights and they can do and say anything that they want, but long as they are not intimidating you or hurting you in the process, then that then you have the right to defend yourself against what they're saying or doing, and you have the right to stand up for yourself, but stay in the realm of being respected of what you're saying or what you're doing in the process. And some people have calm vocabularies and they come across calm, but they still can be if they're continually hovering over you or watching you or just continually, you know, giving you commands. They're still kind of like overwhelming to you. They might come across calm, they might have a calm personality or voice, but they're still what? Infringing on you because they're hovering over you all day or they're monitoring you in everything you do. So those kind of people are sort of like assertive, aggressive. It might be they are calm in their action and way they talk, but they still assertive and aggressive with it because they continually hovering over you while you're doing something. So it is very important that we stay focused on the situation, and then once you communicate to someone, if you communicate to someone in the wrong way, expect the response. You know, there are gonna be a response and the consequences. Of what you communicated. There always gonna be a consequence from what you communicate in the way and how you did it. How you communicate is important. And when we writing things, and like we know that we're living in a society with texting and all of that, when you texting, it's only 7%. You have only 7% of the way that you have a person gonna receive that text. So sometimes people, when you doing written communication, they're gonna add their own vocal into it. They're gonna add what they want to the written part of that vocal. So you're not really getting a fair shot at what you're saying when you're trying to do it in an email or a text or whatever. If you want to really get your point across and really for them to understand the fully, you have to really like talk to them, because only 7% of your message is getting over to them in the way you want it. The rest is they add their own vocals to it. They're gonna add their own stuff to your written message. So be careful when you're writing something to someone, and how when you're writing something to someone rather than telling it to them in person, because you know what, it could go left. It could truly go left when you didn't really want it to go left. And so kind of like stay away from that if it's a very important something that you want to say to someone. And some other things is in the case of written, yes, the definition of is asserted. The definition of asserted is standing is standing for your rights without undue anxiety and without infringing on the rights of others. So when you have assertive behavior or assertive communication, it's standing on your rights without infringing on uh, someone else's rights. So it's all right to be assertive, but don't infringe on somebody else's rights. And so so those are the main things that when we communicating and on the job, we have to stay focused vocally. Watch your tones, watch how you use your body language, and how you use the words in your conversation. If you really want to come across and get your situation in control and want the right consequences, remember how you deliver it is gonna make a difference. Thank you.